Hey, friends, and a pleasant good evening. Welcome to Lions Live 2020. Amid COVID and all the madness our world's experiencing, new technologies, everything else, a new season. We got the Grizz, Jimmy Kennedy, Big Dude, Stephen Davis, and Yaacove Israel. Another fun-filled season with us here, folks. And we appreciate you being able to join us here on Zoom. And we're going to be streaming all of this live to you here coming this year, and it's going to be a lot of fun. And we'll be real brief tonight. There's not a whole lot to report on, Jimmy, because we don't really know what's happening because we haven't been able to get to practice. We don't get the updates. We can't see anything. It's going to be like all new Penn State football for us all over again.
Hey, you know what? It's a new time. It's a new day. I'm glad to finally see the blue and white get back on the field. I'm excited for that right now. So, like you said, we haven't had any updates. Haven't been able to see what's going on with the practice field. On the practice field, I usually text with some guys and so on, and everyone said everything is going great and they're ready to go. But as far as regularly updates and everything else, we're all clueless right now.
Oh man, it's crazy. It's locked tight up there. I know what these guys are going through, and I'll tell you how I found out. I went out for dinner one night, and the girl was like waiting on us, and she's one of the guys said, "Hey, mentioned I played ball at Penn State." She goes, "Oh, but there's a guy on the team I really, really like, but I haven't been able to talk to him because I can only see him outside through a window because they have him in these dorms and stuff, and man, it's like lockdown, man. These guys they got these guys quarantined without even having to be quarantined,
Yeah, you know what it is? It's actually, it's just a commitment to the game right now. In terms of most of those guys have aspirations of going to the next level. There's a lot of guys just did last year or so on. So this new year, they're really not trying to miss this season. So the guys that's committed and focused are doing the right thing. So I would hope that, every Penn State is doing the right thing and trying to do what they can to stay COVID-free. Kudos to Coach Franklin and all the college teams, collegiate football teams that's out there to doing a bubble type environment and so on. So, it's an adjustment that we have to make, and I think we'll be fine. I'm excited for the season.
It's amazing. It's got to be hard on these guys. They're just doing everything, probably classes online. They're just really like a bubble, man. They probably they make sure that they get near buddy for anything because you want to play. And if this virus is so stupid, man, that it's like you can catch it by touching something or who knows what. And these guys are just making sure they're keeping away from people and. They want to, cause a team because, one guy goes down and then they're contact tracing everybody. And next thing you know, there's you'd have the whole offensive line or D line or backfield or receivers. Even in the meetings, one guy goes down, they could take out part of the whole team,
Yeah, and that's basically what it is. If you look, I think a couple of weeks ago, Cam Newton, he tested positive. And then it's just a commitment to a team, not that he was doing anything wrong. Like you said, he could have got it touching the car door. He could have got it going into a grocery store or something, or just doing something simple. But if you lose your starting quarterback, starting running back, starting receiver, starting cornerback, or just imagine if you were to lose, 4 or 5 DBs or a position that you're already low at, because keep in mind, we haven't, I'm speaking Penn State football, we haven't played a game yet, and we also haven't had guys, deal with injuries or anything else, and then having the player injured as well as the COVID is going to be a lot of factors.
Yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see how this all plays out this year, man. And wow, I don't know what else. This has just been crazy. This whole thing's been madness, and I'm left speechless, man, because my jaw just drops with what's going on around the world. With all this madness of late. So, well, I know everybody wants to talk a lot more Penn State. Well, we won't have a lot more to talk about till next week, but we got Indiana this week coming up, and it's really unpredictable. Penn State's had some guys drop out, from different positions. Some guys going to draft, some guys not playing. We really don't know who to expect where. Journey Brown, he's gone from football. Very sad, man. I remember when he came in as a freshman, I got to meet his mom and stuff up in the lounge and talk to them. Real nice family, great people. And just like that, before the guy really gets an opportunity to to have a real shot at it. His whole football career is over because of a condition within his body, and it's really sad to see that happen. And I hope people can understand and appreciate and extend some heartfelt condolences and prayers to the man because leaving football after all these years like this it's hard on an athlete like this. You train all these years and all of a sudden it's taken from you. So my heart goes out to him. This is also a shot in the team too because here's a guy who it was just starting like he's that rose that was about to blossom and bloom, and all of a sudden it's like God, it's over. So I know you've seen that probably happen more often than anybody.
Yeah, can you explain to the fans what actually happened with him so they can just be updated on it?
I know it's a personal matter. I think that's better off just kind of saying that he had a physical condition that they discovered, and it's something it's putting him at more risk to play than it is to not play, and it's just sad, man. It's just really sad.
Yeah. And you know what it is it's just like what you said, when your heart is into it and it becomes like, your body is something breaking down, taking the game away that you love, that you played since you was a kid. And then, like I said, having aspirations of going to the next level. And just when you think you're at the peak where he's starting to make a name for himself, he's playing in that amazing stadium and it's just getting started, and then you're around players that like a Saquon Barkley and a Miles Sanders and so on that's doing well in the NFL. So you judge yourself and you see where you rate with that, and then all of a sudden to have it taken away from you, man, it's a gift and a curse, man.
Yeah, I'm with you.
But Coach Paterno used to tell us all the time, man, especially when it comes to the NFL. NFL means not for long. This football thing, doesn't last forever, and that's the reason why he worked his tail off to make sure he produced out men, who had, pride and were more than just football players. So I think he'll be fine. Obviously it's a condition thing with the body and so on, but hopefully Coach Franklin gives him the opportunity to still be a part of the game he loved, as helping out with the squad and different stuff and so on. Because, like you said, once it's taken away from you, you never know what God's path is for you. He could be a great running back coach or something like that and so on. So just trust the process like always.
Right. And
no Philadelphia, no Joel Embiid when I say trust the process.
I get you. But, he may depend upon his academic background, what he does there. He could wind up, being a doctor or a lawyer or whatever his career ambitions may be. But, nonetheless, though, when you're still at that level, you always are looking ahead to have that shot at wanting to play there. But our condolences out to him. So in the backfield, we won't know what the see till we see Friday Saturday, 3 p.m. kickoff out there at Indiana, Penn State away. I still can't imagine this. The process that people can't imagine what these guys got to go through, leaving like a clean environment all the way up, travel the whole way through a plane, everything escorted to places. The logistics of this, just even going for an away game, got to be incredible. It'd be kind of cool to hear what these guys have to say when they get old like us and they start telling us about, hey, man, remember we played during COVID, and I'm sure they got some really cool stories about what it was like and squad meetings, teams, and everything else going on. They're going to have plenty of books to write.
Yeah, definitely. I remember when what did we play through? When I was there, we played through a lot. We played through the old Haluba Hall, not the Haluba Hall. We had the old weight room and everything else. We had to wait for the new football building, new Lash building. They was building that.
Okay.
Yeah, so when I was there, we had, obviously it's not a pandemic. I'm not comparing it. I'm just saying in terms of watching it be built where they are right now, we had to go through that. The stadium, when they did the extension, and we didn't have locker rooms. We had to do the trailers and everything else and so on. I played through that. What we had the sadness of dealing with Talaferro when he got paralyzed and everything else, and then
Yep.
So I'm just speaking in terms of stuff that was actually hard hitting for the team and everything else, but we still persevered and we still came out on top, and probably didn't have the seasons in terms of national championship goals, but we competed and we did well for the most part while I was there.
Sure, and even when things like this are happening, going on, even when I was, there in '86, they were still finishing up Hula Ball Hall. They were just building it.
Hmm.
But of course, they had that concrete down for the
Yeah.
down for they called AstroTurf back in the day, and they still had the tops open because they hadn't closed it all off yet. I still
Uh-huh.
remember John Bruno would punt the ball out of those holes up at the top of the stadium. It was pretty wild.
Man.
But here, we adapted, we overcame. And I think teams, because when they're really focused, they don't notice those things. You guys probably didn't notice.
Yeah.
You know what? We got to work out here. That's okay. It's a weight room. Let's get it done. So I think at the time, you adapt, you overcome, you move on, you try to reach your goals, and I think that's what a lot of teams are obviously doing now. With this season, it's just going to be, it's just different, man. It seems really weird. You wake up, and here we are, midway through, getting towards the end of October, and they're like, wait a second, we haven't played a game yet. It's just really strange, and I don't know what it's going to be like for
Well,
home.
it just becomes a problem because not a problem, but think about how we felt when it was spring ball, and we were getting that itch to start having contact and not go against your same guy every day in practice and so on. So I'm sure the monotony of every day practicing the same player against the same guy and so on, and not being able to show your skills, because that's what it is. It's more about it's love amongst each other in terms of the brotherly love, but we still want to compete and still, say, all right, it's still a competitive environment. Like, I still want to beat Skip, and, whether it's offense versus defense, I still want to be able to move up the depth chart or make sure I maintain my spot at the number one spot and so on. So that's, it's not just like right now you're just practicing. You can't beat a person out and become second or first string.
Well, you're right. And on top of that, see, now because of the contact, they only so much time days they can actually have contact. I'm sure the coaches, it's very obvious they're not hitting the way they would be hitting in a game. They're backing the guys off because they don't want to get rid of injury. It has totally changed, man. It has radically changed 30 plus 40 years, man.
Which raised a concern for the first game of what our tackling will look like.
Oh, yeah. Oh, wow. Well, I guess we'll find out. We'll find out on Sunday. Kind of hard to put a prediction there. Hey, anything with the ball you've been watching or the teams have been playing that stands out to you, Jimmy?
Not necessarily. I mean, I've been watching. Actually, I watched Daniel Jones down at North Carolina State. Daniel Joseph, sorry. Daniel Jones. I'm thinking of Giants ball right now. But Daniel Joseph, the Penn State, the defensive end we had, he's down obviously at NC State right now. He's been playing solid ball. So it's been a couple of guys that I've been watching that were there, that was at Penn State, and just college ball in general. I can't say my heart was into it because I feel like I'm supporting other teams and everything else. I watch. It's still football. I watch just to see what our competition will look like, but we're not playing Big Ten ball yet. So it's kind of like you're just watching, and then it's like, it makes you miss Penn State a little bit more. It makes you miss the Big Ten a little bit more. So I'm excited to see the guys get back in the swing of things and go out there because once you get on the field, it's just like what you said. You don't think about it. We have our helmets on. I'm not sure if they have special face masks or different stuff and so on.
Yeah.
I know it. On a couple of players that I've seen, they had the visor, but the visor went over the mouth. So it was like it wasn't like a whole motorcycle type thing. You still see out the eyes, but it still was a clear shield right there. So I'm excited to see what the adjustments are, and it hasn't been consistent in terms of every team, but I've seen a couple of guys with that on. So.
Right. Well, it's interesting. You notice the country and different conferences and things, and obviously you can see the South, which is, they're more conservative states, and here they are. Those guys are out there. See Georgia and Alabama, and they're playing footloose, fancy free like they've always been. And then now we get the 10.
Yeah.
We got now we're part of the Big Ten. Where they're a little bit more liberal up here, and they're more timid. And I have no idea what they're going to come out there with wearing, man.
Yeah, but you know how that goes. You live and die football down the South for the most part.
Yeah.
It's all year round in Texas, Florida, Georgia, all that. It's always all year round. So that's what it is right now.
Yep. I've been a little bit impressed with Alabama as usual. Those guys they always seem to, that's a machine right now. And
but think about it. Even their coach caught COVID.
Yeah.
Saban, right?
Yeah. So, yeah, it's going around.
He has contact with everyone.
Yeah, it's one of those weird things, and I do a little bit of reading, trying to keep up with things on all this, and it's strange because I think there's good information out there, some bad information. It's a real mix of what you get out there, and I have a business and I deal with the public a lot and interact with the public a lot. And I have to kind of come up with policies and things. And mine's been that, this is the United States. You're a free person. Each person should make choices and realize the choices you make come with consequence, and take the knowledge you have to act accordingly. So I give people opportunity to do things more virtually, but also in person. And in person, I say, well, it's your choice. You wear a mask or not want to. You just respect one another's rights of those who do and those who don't. And I think that's I'm not trying to tiptoe between the tulips, but I think that's where I got to come down in my own personal life and business. And I hope people can kind of get back to that more in that sense of order, because some people have more fear than others with different things. And I think as time goes on, our knowledge of all of this will grow. More information will become available, and hopefully this can be put behind us sooner rather than later, with vaccines or whatever else needs to be done. That this can become a thing of the past. We can look back at the ugly history of it, and we can get our lives back to normal, man. Because I'm missing ball, buddy. I'm missing some serious ball.
Definitely. I mean, I agree. I think just to elaborate on what you said, when I go and let's say if I'm out and about, most people, and I'll give you an example. Obviously, I can go with the COVID stuff, but I'll give you this example. Imagine if the dog lovers out there, right? Most dog lovers, when they have their dog, they're on a leash. If the dog is a friendly dog and so on, they're like, oh, you could pet him and everything else and so on. And from my position, because their dog is friendly, they'll let their dog run to the next person, or let the leash, give them a little bit of slack so they can go to a person walking past or so on, whatever. Now, here's what the reality is. The reality is this. I don't know this person. I could love dogs and certain things and so on, but that person doesn't know where I'm going. If I want to have a dog jump on me, lick me, touch me, whatever the case may be, or whatever, and then the person don't know if I'm allergic. So usually when I walk in, I do certain things. It's usually like if I see there's dogs around, I'm allergic. So it becomes like I can love them all I want to, but I don't have any Benadryl, and I want to touch my eyes and different stuff and so on. So I feel the same situation happened with the mask. Okay. It's a violation of my HIPAA to keep running around. I mean, you can believe what you want to believe, but think about this. Since I've been retired, I've had 8 heart surgeries.
Wow.
So just learning different things. So now what do I have to do? I have to go say, hey, I know you don't want to wear your mask, but I have pre-existing conditions, diabetes run in my family, or different stuff and so on. And you understand what I'm saying? So it becomes like, just be respectful of others. And, like I've, stepped out and people like, oh, take the mask off and so on. I went to a wedding this past weekend, and it was a private backyard wedding and everything else. And it was probably no more than 30 people. And everyone's like, oh, you take your mask off. This is family here. This is so on and so on. And I kept my mask off. And, yesterday I was getting called from the bride and groom welfare check because 6 people tested positive.
Wow.
And it was just like, all the people was telling me to take my mask off and so on. And it's just like, now look, so.
Yeah, I get it. I've attended some funerals and things, and it's just been really kind of bizarre, and depending upon where you live, the culture is different. I mean, a lot of people didn't wear one, and I've been reading some studies that were done before the virus came around. A lot of studies that have been done before that about the effectiveness of masks, and they're really good for bacterial infections, but for viral infections, that um, they're not going to stop it. And so some interesting studies have been done about this. So everybody has to do their own homework on this, understand your limitations, be respectful of others who may be at risk. I got an older dad. My mom, if my mom was living, I couldn't let her out of the house, man. Because
Yeah.
and I'd be paranoid coming home. And even when my mom was living, man, I was like, man, first I came home, wash my hands. You do all those things to try to
Yeah.
prevent your love from getting something. So
Yeah.
it's really a stressful time. So hopefully the Lord will lift this pestilence from our land and we can get back to some type of normalcy soon. But I know people didn't come to hear us talk about our thoughts and things. It's nice to be able to share them here, and hopefully it gives everybody a chance to take a step back and put some perspective on things and think about things in a different way. And that's why we do this. Different angles, different views of things of football. We
Yeah.
don't have any. We don't have any yet this year with Penn State, but I'll tell you what. By next
Yeah.
week, the big dude and Yaacove will be back, and we'll do this all again. And I can't give a prediction, but I do predict Penn State will win, but I can't say an amount just because I believe in the program. I think we're better coached, and I think that's going to carry through onto this game we have ahead. But I can't give a score to me. I don't know what to do with that.
I'd say 27-14 Penn State.
I'll go with that. I think it could happen.
Yeah.
We got a strong kicking game returning. I know that part's good. Yeah, I could go with that. And if we had guys stepping up, next man up, I think we're gonna.
Yeah.
I think we'll do well. I think we could actually score into the 30s too, maybe 35. So we'll see where it flies, man.
See, that part I don't know, because keep in mind we lost Journey Brown and everything else, so we lost a couple of receivers and everything else to the NFL. So, I know we still have talent-wise on defense. Even though we lost Micah and a few others, we still have 40. We still have our talented young defensive ends. We still have Shaka Tony. We still have a decent secondary. So I'm excited to see who we put on the field.
That's awesome.
Well,
next year, this year we're going to be trying to keep this show to as close to an hour as we can. We got a lot of stuff to cover. Next week we'll review a lot more. Go over, see how everybody else has been doing in the Big Ten. We can maybe pick up our picks from there. It'll be great to have everybody back. So, any final parting comments, Jimmy, for the first week?
No, I'm excited to get this thing rolling.
Awesome. Yeah, me too. I miss you guys. This is the most fun I have during the year, apart from going to the games themselves. So, I love you guys.
Yeah.
Look forward to being able to catch up with everybody again here next week. So, on behalf of the big dude and Yaacove Israel, you got the Grizz Jimmy Kenny. My name's Skip Dreibelbis. Look forward to catch you next week on Live, folks. So, thanks. You have a great night. Take care.
Yeah, be cool.
Bye-bye.